the story of the wild horse. On the windswept plains, a baby horse saw the sun for the first time. It stood up on shaky legs, a horse born to be free. The mother horse affectionately licked the first coat of the little horse. The entire herd of wild horses welcomed the new member to their family. The first lesson for the little horse was to keep its balance and follow its mother. The wide world opened up before the curious horse. Potential strength already existed in the body of the tiny horse. The whole herd of horses began to move, a lesson in a life of constant roaming. The little horse tried its best not to fall behind the herd. The mane and tail of the little horse fluttered in the wind. Each day, the legs of the horse became stronger and more powerful. It learned to recognize the freshest grasses under the guidance of the mother horse. Life in the herd was the best protection for a young horse. The lead stallion was always vigilant, protecting the whole herd from danger. Our horse admired the strength and majesty of that lead horse. It played with the other young horses in exhilarating chases. Speed was already deep in the blood of every wild horse. The neighing of the herd of horses echoed across the plains like a song of freedom. The little horse learned to recognize the signs of predators. A wild horse must always be alert in order to survive. Many months passed, and the once little horse had grown much larger. The coat of this horse had a characteristic reddish-brown color of the plains. Muscles began to show on the body of the young horse. The indomitable spirit of the wild horse species was growing inside it. One afternoon, the sky darkened, signaling an approaching storm. The whole herd of horses began to feel anxious. The led horse led the herd to find a safe shelter. This was the first challenge from nature that the young horse had to face. The sound of thunder made the young horse's heart beat wildly. It pressed close to the mother horse, seeking safety. The storm passed, leaving a profound lesson for every horse in the herd. After the rain, the entire herd of horses strode together under a rainbow. The life of a wild horse is always tied to the changes of nature. As it matured, the young male horse began to feel a different urge. Instinct made it want to prove the strength of a male horse. It started small confrontations with the other young male horses. That is how a horse prepares for a future leadership role. Then one day, our horse decided to leave the herd it was born into. The departure of a young horse is a necessary step to create its own legacy. It began a solitary journey across the vast plains. Now, the horse had to face all dangers on its own. Solitude forged the horse to become stronger and wiser. It single-handedly defeated a coyote in a confrontation. The back kick of a horse is an extremely effective defensive weapon. Many seasons passed, and the horse was now a mighty, mature stallion. The long mane of the horse flowed with pride. It began to seek out wandering female horses to form its own herd. The strength and confidence of the horse attracted its first members. It was now the lead horse, responsible for an entire herd. The responsibility of a lead horse is incredibly heavy. It led its herd of horses to the best pastures. It protected its herd of horses from all enemies. One day, another young male horse came to challenge it. The battle between the two lead horses was incredibly fierce. The sound of neighing and the thud of hooves on the ground created a majestic scene. Experience helped our horse win and defend its position. The defeated horse had to lower its head and leave, accepting the law of the strongest. Many generations of foals were born under the protection of this horse. It had become a living legend on the plains it commanded. The scars on the horse's body were proof of a lifetime of battles. The old horse had now passed on its leadership position to a younger, stronger male. It stepped back, becoming a quiet horse, observing the next generation. Even so, the respect for the old horse never changed. It had lived the full life of a wild horse. One evening, the old horse stood alone on a hilltop, looking toward the sunset. It felt the wind of freedom that this horse had chased its entire life. The spirit of this horse will forever be a part of the plains. It had passed on a legacy of courage to the next generation of horses. Finally, the old horse passed away quietly in the peace of the earth and sky. But the story of that legendary horse will never end. The soul of that horse will forever gallop with the prairie wind. Every wild horse that is born carries a story like that within it. The life of a horse is an epic of freedom and courage.